We got to follow the rules. It's not our choice. All right, welcome, folks. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Glad you're with me today. We're going to talk today about a topic I've covered very little in the past. It's going to be microplastics. This is emerging as a big health issue, and nobody's talking about it. Hardly anybody's talking about it, but I will today. So if you're new to the show, what I do is I talk for 24 minutes. Whatever platform you're on, you can type in any health questions you have. John, my producer, will then read me the questions at the 24-minute break. I will answer them. Then we'll do another 24 minutes, and then I answer more questions. So this is a unbelievable opportunity to have health questions answered directly from me. So I am ready to start whenever you are, John. Hey, folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Glad you're with me today. We're going to talk today about microplastics. What the heck is that? This is a new emerging area of healthcare that a lot of people aren't talking about and a lot of people aren't testing for. And we're seeing patients come in all the time with issues they can't figure out what it is. And when I do a lifestyle analysis with them, I find that they're getting a lot of exposure to microplastics. We don't have a cause and effect yet, but we do have a indirect. The plastic is causing inflammation. The plastic is changing the hormones. The plastic is affecting the brain. And so then we start to see other issues. But today you're going to be very surprised how much we're going to talk about, how much exposure you have to these microplastics. And then most importantly, what do you do about it? So as an overview of what we're going to talk about today, the research on microplastics means small plastic particles, linked to chronic disease, high blood pressure, stroke, diabetes, and it's one of the top 10 predictors of how bad the condition is going to be. So researchers can look at your blood pressure, your diabetes, and then look at your plastic exposure and say, wow, it's going to get a lot worse than somebody who doesn't have that exposure. And the nice part is you have control of most of your exposure to plastics. So most people haven't thought about this. It's time to add this to other issues to worry about, we'll call it. How about that? And they know that communities with higher microplastic levels experience significantly more chronic diseases, and the risk steadily increases the more plastic you're exposed to. Now, that being said, people that are exposed to more plastic might be living in lower income environments, might be living in less clean environments, but a lot of these things you're getting exposed to are, you're getting it everywhere. No matter what your financial situation is, you're getting exposed to these plastics from your food, from your house, from the clothes you wear, or even exposing us to plastic. So we got to talk about this and what to do about it. What happens is the plastic can embed itself in the plaque in the arteries. So you have arteries supposed to be clean. You're supposed to have zero plaque. But if you have plaque, which most people do, the plastic can embed itself into the plaque and actually cause an inflammatory reaction, and that increases your risk of heart attack, stroke, and even high blood pressure. So every day I get emails from patients, and they say, Dr. Joe, I've tried everything to lose weight and nothing's working. I've tried everything to bring down my blood pressure and nothing's working. I've tried everything, you fill in the blank. And so now I have to say, all right, let's look at your environment. And plastic might be the missing link or a missing link. It may not be the missing link, but could be a missing link. And so you're going to have to take some responsibility on this one. And the good news is we're going to talk about ways to detoxify. You can get a water filter in your house. I have a whole house water filter. I love it. Avoid plastic in your packaging foods. Use glass containers, natural fibers. So there's a lot of proactive steps you can take that are going to be good, not just for plastic, but for your overall health. So we got a lot to talk about today. If you have any questions, and I'm going to jump right in here, but if you ever have questions on any health topic, you could always send me your question through my website, drjoe.com. That's drjoe.com. Feel free to send me your questions. Happy to answer them for you on anything. If I have an answer, I'll tell you. If I don't, I'll tell you that too. I don't know everything, but most times we get pretty good results. So, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. You've heard of them before. They did some research on high blood pressure, diabetes, stroke, and cancer, and they wanted to assess how microplastic pollution stacked up against other environmental toxins. So it could be air pollution, it could be phthalates from perfume, it could be endocrine disrupting chemicals, it could be VOCs, volatile organic compounds from paint. So at 154 different environmental and socioeconomic factors in this study. People living near high microplastic zones had more chronic illness. That's like the mic drop right there. So the more exposure you had, the more chronic illness you were likely to have. higher rates of what we call non-communicable diseases. That's high blood pressure, diabetes. You can't catch it. Communicable means you can catch it. This means you can't catch it. So researchers emphasize that plastic particles were inhaled or ingested. So this is where the tricky part comes in. You can inhale it and eat it. And that's an issue we have to think about. So not just your usual behaviors, not unusual behaviors. This is just day-to-day activities, drinking water, eating food, or just breathing can increase your exposure to these little tiny microplastics. They were ranked in the top 10 predictors of chronic disease. The study found that microplastics were among the top risk factors for chronic illness. The more you're exposed to, the higher your risk of chronic illness. So I know it seems like every day it's something new. It's hormones, it's chemicals, it's what's in the food, it's steroids, it's antibiotics, it's genetically modified food. Yeah, it's true. I don't have a quick answer for you. But what I want you to do is just start living a clean life. And when you do that, several things happen. Number one, you save a ton of money. If money is your motivation, you're going to save a ton of money just by living a clean life. And you reduce the risk of all these diseases. You're probably, no guarantees, probably going to live longer, probably going to have a lot less medical bills. Most people, we talked about this last week in my show, spend the last 13 to 15 years of their lives going to doctors. Medical, I'm going to say experiments, could be experiments, medical procedures, doctor visits, medications. The studies we talked about, that so many people are on prescription medications. I'll tell you a story. I hung out with a lot of other healthy people. And we talk about that. Like if we go to the doctor for an evaluation, whatever it is, okay, give me the list of medications that you're on. I don't take any medications. What do you mean you don't take any medications? At your age, you should be on an average of 3 medications, 3 prescription medications, some people up to 6 and as high as 15 at your age. I don't take any. I mean, if I have a headache, sometimes I'll take acetaminophen and I'll get adjusted. That helps my headache. And then I'll take some glutathione because one of the things acetaminophen does, it depletes your liver of glutathione, and glutathione helps detoxify your body. Things like microplastics and heavy metals, the glutathione creates this cascade effect that helps the liver clean out these toxic chemicals. And so if I do take something that's going to affect my glutathione levels, like acetaminophen, I will then take an extra glutathione supplement. I take it every day anyway. Take an extra bonus. Oh. So even if you do take medications, and I did a show on this a couple of weeks ago on food-drug interactions and then proactive steps you can take, if I take a medication, like I said, acetaminophen is the only one I ever take, is I want to make sure my liver's healthy, so then I'll give my liver an extra boost. It's so easy when you understand how. I don't expect you to understand how. Study this for 40 years now, every day, 40 years. So I pick up these little tips, and that's why I do these shows, podcasts, radio shows, TV shows. I do all this because I want to share this information with you. I know you may not have time to do the research. I've done it for you. Just go ahead and do it. But glutathione is a great supplement. It's on my website, drjoe.com, but I take it every day, and you should too, because I want to keep my liver strong. I can't prevent exposure to certain things. I'm pumping gas in my car, I get a whiff of gas. Can't prevent that from happening. I mean, I try, but sometimes the wind changes or something. So I want to keep my liver as healthy as I can, and it's also going to help detoxify the microplastics. More plastics, more diseases. Now, once again, it might be that people living in high microplastic areas are living in different incomes, but microplastics are everywhere. You go to grocery store, what do you put your food in? Plastic bags. What's the containers? I mean, I used to buy lettuce, and it was just on the shelf. You take the lettuce, you take it home, and you wash it and eat it. Now it comes in a plastic container. Almost everything comes in a plastic container. I find it ridiculous. I don't know why we're doing that, but somebody smarter than me has figured it out. I guess they're making money on it. And what happens to all that plastic? It has to be thrown away. And you're getting exposed to it. Now, one of the things we'll talk about, I'll jump on this later, but I want to make sure you know this. Never, ever put something hot in a plastic container. That's something hot out off the stove, putting it in a microwave. Never. Even styrofoam cups. Styrofoam cups can leak toxic chemicals. It's hot. So it's melting into whatever you put the liquid in. You put it in coffee, you're going to melt coffee. You put it in hot chocolate, it's going to melt into hot chocolate. So never use heat and plastic together, ever. Not even a plastic wrap over the top of something and put it in a microwave. I need you to stop using plastic. I want you to get really afraid of plastic and avoid it at all costs. So I was surprised how high microplastics ranked in this data. Initially, I never really thought about it until I started doing research on this thing. And it finds that microplastics, it really puts it in the spotlight for me. Because I always talk about food. This is not food. I talk about food. I talk about nutrition. I talk about chiropractic care. I talk about lifestyle, exercise. This is just something that's around you. So it's not diet. It's just life exposure. And you need to start making some positive changes if you want to. So the microplastics are defined as 1 nanometer to 5 millimeters across. So they're really, really, really small. But 5 millimeters is actually a pretty big piece of plastic. And it comes from food packaging, building materials, clothing, cosmetics. How many people use cosmetics? Toxic chemicals. I've done shows on cosmetics in the past. I'm sure I'll do them in the future as well because there's so many toxic chemicals. They did one study on lipstick as I go down a rabbit hole, and they couldn't find one commercial lipstick on the market that didn't have nickel in it. Nickel is a heavy metal. Heavy metals get in the body, and they essentially short-circuit the body. But the same thing with plastics. Your body can't digest nickel. Your body can't digest plastic. So it has to try to detoxify it and get it out of the body, but when it does, it causes an inflammatory reaction. Imagine it like a splinter getting in your finger. The splinter gets under your skin, and it causes an inflammatory reaction. That's what these plastics are doing. They're getting in your body. They're getting in your cells, and the body says, I don't know what this thing is. I better create inflammation. That's its first line of defense to protect that area. And when the microplastics get into the cells, it can affect the mitochondria. You've heard me talk about that before. The mitochondria is the part of the cell that generates electricity. And the inflammation that it causes damages the mitochondria. So now the mitochondria can't generate electricity for the cells to function. More microplastics, more mitochondrial damage, more cell damage. And if I get to it, they found that when people get microplastics in their liver, that it can cause an inflammatory reaction and cause the liver to start producing more liver cells. Now, it sounds like a good thing, right? More liver cells, better. But they're not as specialized, what we call differentiated, as a healthy liver cell would be. And so it can lead to things like abnormal cell growth and even cancer. Wow. I'm always interested when people say, I got cancer. Well, how'd you get it? I don't know. Now, I don't know why you get cancer either. But I do know when you reduce the risk factors, you reduce the risk for cancer. And that's what I'm trying to get to you. Reduce every factor you can. I can't promise it's going to solve all your problems, but I can promise you it's going to reduce the risk of getting these problems. So to me, it's a lifestyle. Everything I do, I don't have any carpets in my house. I go to all hardwoods and tile because carpets breed mold and fungus and bacteria and germs. I want to get that out of my house. I make a lot of my own meals. Because, I like going out to dinner, but I don't know what ingredients they're using. And chances are they're using bad oils, seed oils, toxic chemicals, maybe monosodium glutamate. I don't know. If I cook at home, I know what's in it. And you don't have to be a gourmet chef. Have a salad every day. You can buy an organic salad many times, right? Two or 3 days before it goes bad, the grocery stores will put it at a discount. So you get a half the price, an organic salad, go home and eat it that day. Apple cider vinegar helps stimulate digestion. Raw organic apple cider vinegar has the bacteria in it to help the bacteria in your colon grow. And we're finding that certain bacteria can detoxify plastics as well. Extra virgin organic olive oil. Little salt and pepper. There's your salad dressing. My mother put a little garlic powder on it. Everyone loved my mother's salad dressing. And all it was oil, vinegar, garlic, salt, and pepper. Whenever there was a party, and I came from a big Italian family, my mom would be in charge of the salad. Because she would just make this amazing salad. My mouth's watering thinking about it right now. So it's so easy and so cheap to make your own meals. I was talking about this last week. I was in one of those fancy health food stores, you know it, and they had a salad bar, and they had like a antipasto bar, maybe it was, $12.99 a pound. And they had olives, and they had roasted peppers, and I said, that looks nice. Chickpea salad. If you listened last week, you heard this story already. It was chickpeas, not organic, with oil and vinegar and Italian seasoning, $12.99 a pound. You can buy a can of organic chickpeas, or just boil your own up if you want to. Can of organic chickpeas for maybe $1.25, let's say $1.50. Let's get crazy. Rinse it off. Add oil and vinegar and Italian seasoning. And now for about $1.50 to $2, you have what you'd pay $13 for. And What are you going to do? You're going to put it in a plastic container to bring it home from the store. Don't do that. $13 versus $1.50. And it's easier. It's home. Don't have to travel. Save gas. Don't use plastic containers. It's easy when you start to look at it that way. We come from a very poor family. My father was disabled. And one of my father's great lines was, I can make that. I can make that. And I was a kid. I thought, well, you just make things. You don't buy them at the store. You just look at it in the store and make them. And so that really led me into this leading into this world of how easy and quick and inexpensive it is to actually eat a good meal. You can buy 4 cans, 5 cans of chickpeas, leave in your refrigerator, leave in your pantry, Have some oil and vinegar on the shelf. Have some salt. I'm sure you have that, some Italian seasoning, and there's your chickpea salad. I do that sometimes. If I'm in a rush and I don't have time to make a big meal, I'll just go ahead and make a chickpea salad. Want to get crazy, throw in some sliced tomatoes, some little celery if you want to get fancy, dill if you want to. But it's so easy and so quick and so inexpensive. I did a post the other day, and I talked about this earlier too, on emergency meals. And I have, in my office right now, I have a couple of cans of beans, organic beans. And I don't like the can, of course, because the can can have microplastics in it or BPA, bisphenol A. If you get organic, you usually it'll say BPA free. I rinse off the beans, and I'll add a little hot sauce to it. And I'll just eat that. And I remember years ago, one of my secretaries came in my office, and I got a can of beans open with a plastic spoon, because I don't want to use metal to scrape the can, and I'm eating it out of the can. And she was shocked. Dr. Joe, why are you eating beans out of a can? I was busy that day. I didn't have time to go out to lunch. I didn't pack my lunch. I have that as an emergency. Is it an ideal gourmet meal? No, it's not. Does it give you nutrients that you need? Yes. Is it expensive? Yes. Is it convenient? Yes. So why not do it? Don't have to fit the decorum. I mean, I don't eat meat. So I certainly don't follow the rules. I march to a different drum. But just make better choices. And that's what we're talking about today. But these microplastics can stay in your body because your body doesn't have a way to really break them down. If it's a virus or a germ, you have an immune system to kill it and then flush it out through your lymph system. We don't have good ways to get heavy metals and plastics out of our body. We have some ways, but not good ways. They don't break down. They lodge into your tissue. They cause an inflammatory reaction. And with inflammation, you can get pain. Now, I've been in practice 40 years. I see a lot of patients in pain. The number one reason we see patients is pain. The number 2 reason is digestive issues. Plastics can aggravate both. So if you have pain, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, sciatica, we do a workup on every one of our patients, and we do a nutrition workup on the patient as well to find out what's going to be the best treatment for that patient. So if you have pain, what's the most effective, least expensive treatment for pain? Chiropractic care for back pain. So if you have pain, go to my website right now, drjoe.com, drjoe.com, make an appointment. In the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We take almost every insurance known to man. I'm a specialist in car accident cases. I train other doctors in car accident cases. If we don't have a clinic near you, let me know, and I'll try to find somebody near you if I think they're good enough to send you to them. But we do it. It's so easy, so quick, so inexpensive to be a patient in our office. And every day, promise you this, every day when we're seeing patients, a new patient will come in and say, I've been meaning to come to you since blank. You know, somebody came in the other day and said, Dr. Joe, I've been listening to you for years now on radio, your lectures, I've read your books. And I was talking to one of my friends about this back issue that I have, and they said, well, they go see Dr. Joe. You should go there too. And he says, you know, I listen to you all the time. I listen to your podcast. I never thought to come see you. Came in and we fixed them. So if you want to make an appointment, drjoe.com. Normally the first visit is $940. I've reduced that to $299 for you, my listeners. So go to my website, drjoe.com. Stop suffering needlessly. Let's check your nervous system. Let's check your digestive system. Let's look at your diet, and let's see what we got to do to change the whole paradigm of your health care system. I had a gynecologist come in the other day, and she was a nice lady. And I was explaining what we do in the muscle testing and the digestion, and she said, I've never heard that before. I've never heard any of this. She goes, it's amazing. I love this. So, again, just because a doctor doesn't know it exists doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Many times people say, well, there's nothing you can do. They come see us, and there is something we can do. So stop suffering, drjoe.com. So let's talk more about these plastics. Oh, if you want to make an appointment, drjoe.com. If you have any health questions, send them through my website, drjoe.com. Any question, I'm happy to answer it for you if I have an answer. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We post every day health tips. A lot of health tips are from these shows. So it's absolutely free. Please do it as a favor to me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my podcast. Dr. Joe for the Health of It is the podcast. Dr. Joe for the Health of It. Let's get this information just coming at you from all angles, and let's see if we can make some big changes, little changes, to make big changes in your health. drjoe.com. So the plastics bury themselves in the artery. We're talking about microplastics today if you're just tuning in. And it's something we've never really thought about much, and now suddenly healthcare is going, wait a minute, these are causing some real serious issues. So what they do, they embed themselves in your arteries, and they cause an inflammatory reaction. They get into your cells, and it can cause an inflammatory reaction. They get into the mitochondria, and when the inflammation occurs, now the body starts attacking that area. The body says, something's wrong here. We're going to cause inflammation, seal it off if we can, and then attack it. So it puts a big strain on your immune system. And my immune system's doing a lot. Viruses, germs, bacteria, COVID. It's got a lot going on. And so now we add this new thing, this microplastic that doesn't break down. Same with heavy metals. They don't break down. Mercury, lead, cadmium. They get into the system and they can't break down. Now, with metals, we do a hair analysis in our office. We take a little tiny bit of your hair from any part of the body, and we can analyze it to see if you have heavy metals in your body. And if you do, we recommend a heavy metal detox. The plastics are a little more tricky. We don't have tests for it yet. But we do know we can test to see if the plastic is there and what to do about it. So there are some tests. I lied. There are some tests, but it's not as easy as heavy metals. And a lot of you never had heavy metal testing, and you should. Very inexpensive. Find out if you have heavy metal toxicity. But this plastic-laden plaque is so bad because the plastics were more than 4 times likely to experience a heart attack if you had plastic in your body than if not, or die from any cause within a 3-year exposure to the plastics. You're getting them everywhere. They're in your food. They're in plastic bottles. And I just read this study the other day that the plastics, you think a glass bottle is safe. Well, if they have a plastic top on it, the plastic can still leach down into the glass bottle. You're doomed, aren't you? Not necessarily. First of all, don't use a lot of plastic at all. And never, ever buy something like vinegar in a plastic bottle. Because anything with an acid, vinegar, tomatoes, the acid can start to leach the plastic out of the container. And that becomes an issue because then you're eating it. Again, you can't avoid this 100%, but you can do a lot of things. The researchers found that the presence of plastic correlated with higher levels of certain inflammatory markers that are known to worsen vascular disease and cause plaque to rupture the arteries. So not only does it cause an inflammatory reaction, the arteries become weaker and they're more likely to burst. I don't know about you, but I don't want an artery bursting anywhere in my body, certainly not my brain. Stroke, heart attack, lungs. You got some big issues there. Plastics coincided with greater immune cell presence, meaning that the body was actively responding to these foreign materials like a chronic infection. So like we said, if you have an infection, the body's going to send all these immune cells into the area. And we have to stop that because your immune system, you only have so many soldiers, I call them, so many soldiers to fight these things. All right, I'm looking at the clock. I got to go to break. Gosh, I got so much more to cover. If you want a copy of today's show notes, I'm not going to cover everything I need to. If you want a copy of today's show notes, send me an email through the website, drjoe.com, and just put microplastics somewhere in the email, and I will send you today's show notes absolutely free. No charge. My gift to you. You can see, and what the show notes are, it's going to have a list of exposure, what causes it, and then what to do about it. We're going to cover that in the next half. If you want to make an appointment, drjoe.com. I'd love to see you as a patient. Neck pain, back pain, digestive issues, nutritional concerns. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn. Let's get you these little tiny tidbits. I'm going to feed you very small pieces of information every day so you can start making big changes in your health, not just for you, but for your family, your kids, your grandkids. Stop suffering needlessly. Many conditions you have are self-induced. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right. What do you have? What do you have?
Are styrofoam cups okay for cold beverages?
No, I wouldn't use them at all. They are so dangerous. I just wouldn't use them. No. Glass or plastic or ceramic or metal. Not plastic. Glass or metal or ceramic. What else?
What are the best tests to measure oxidative stress and inflammation levels in your arteries?
You can do something called a C-reactive protein. C-reactive protein is a general test to see if there's inflammation in the body. So that's a good starting point to see where you are. You could do a calcium score. A calcium score is going to determine if you have inflammation. The body lays down plaque, calcium, to protect that area. So I would say a calcium score is C-reactive protein. What else?
Is there a nutritional difference between baking vegetables and stir-frying them?
They're probably very close. I know I did a show on that a while ago, I think. It might have been a couple of years ago, on the best way to do it. And frying, of course, is the worst. I mean, I don't think there's any question frying is the worst. But baking and stir-frying, you're probably going to be okay. So deep frying, I should say, yeah. All right. John's reset my camera here. I move around. He gets mad at me. I don't know if I could outrun him either. He's younger than me. I don't know if I can. I don't know. He's got to sit back there, though. So he's got to hide behind the camera. So he's getting everything reset here. Again, any questions, drjoe.com. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And the podcast is Dr. Joe for the health of it. We lost camera? Okay. I don't know if you can hear me or not. I'll keep talking, assuming you can. Well, we did lose the camera, so hang on a second there. Got to see if it's working or not. All right, he's checking. He's going to unplug and replug, so hang on for a second there, folks. All right. All right, Instagram, you're still going, but the other systems, let's see. It happened before we first started, and we thought we had it fixed, but it's got an attitude today. I don't know why it's so feisty today. Let's see. He's going to we're back? Oh, keep talking. John said just keep right on talking. Okay. Any questions you have? Okay, I'm assuming you can hear me. I know Instagram can. If you have any health questions, send them to me through my website, drjoe.com. And I know you listen to this because I get tons of questions every day. And I'm always amazed. Sometimes they come in at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm always thinking, boy, what are you guys doing awake this hour? But then I think, well, if you have health issues, you're not sleeping properly. And that's something that you need to address. Come see us, and let's see if we can get that addressed for you. So you've got Facebook, you've got Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn to get the posts. You can get access to me 24 hours a day through drjoe.com. Now, if you do send me a question, I will get back to you. I promise. Now, if it's been 2 days, then you can resend it. But I had a fellow last week, and he sent a question about 20 minutes later in capital letters. Why are you not answering my question? Well, I see patients. I still actively see patients. We have radio. We have television. We have a lot going on. And so we try everything we can to try to get back to you as quickly as we possibly can. We're going to unplug again, so hang on a second, folks. All right. Instagram, you're still with me. So we'll see if hopefully we get the audio at least out of it. Yeah, so I will get back to you. I promise you. And if it's really an urgent thing, you can always call the office and talk to my staff if you have to. My staff is very good about answering questions. They may not know the technicalities of healthcare questions, but if it's a question about insurance, if it's a question about appointments, no need to reach out to me. I don't have access to I do have access to it, but I don't change the appointment calendar. My staff doesn't let me. They know better. They say, listen, you take care of people. We'll handle the back end. You don't have to touch anything. Because if I do, I don't know. I'm not as good as they are, so I might screw something up. So if you have a question, just feel free to call my office if you want to. We accept almost all insurances, car accidents, sports injuries, workers' comp, VA. We're even on a VA referral list. So we're very well established in getting you the care that you need. And it's still, even if you have to pay out of your pocket, it's still the most effective, least expensive treatment for back pain. I had a patient come in not long ago, and they had insurance, and they sent somebody else in, and they didn't have insurance. Well, Bob only pays $20 a visit. Well, Bob has insurance. So this person was saying, well, I can't afford coming to see you if I don't have insurance. I said, how much money have you spent so far? Tens of thousands of dollars on copays, deductibles, out of pocket. And I said, you can't afford what essentially is going to come to a meal a day, basically. And they finally said, yes, all right, I'll do it. And boy, let me tell you, they were thrilled. And they said, Dr. Joe, this is amazing. Even though I'm paying out of pocket, it's still cheaper than my copay was when I went to the hospital, went to the other doctors. I said, well, I wish the world would catch on. In fact, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were talking about AI and how AI is changing. Oh, going to unplug again? All right, we're going to unplug again. Hey, so hang on, folks. Yeah, John's got it. And they were talking about how AI, if you're still there, hope you're there, how AI is changing the face of healthcare and how AI can read x-rays better than humans. They can read medical reports better than humans. They could do diagnosis better than humans. And I said, yeah, that's a game changer. But we're still just diagnosing and treating symptoms. In many cases, we're not getting to the cause. Now, I am not against medicine. Please understand that. If you need medicine, have medicine. If you need surgery, have surgery. If I need medicine or surgery, I'm going to do it. But then I want to mitigate the damage from that. For example, a lot of surgeons will send me cases and say, Dr. Joe, get them as well as you can going into surgery so that they can get well coming